Hi everyone, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me today, and in today's video we're going to be putting together the Hexagonal Exploding Box die set. So here is the die set here. It's from my brand new release from the Snapshot collection. So there are so many pieces in here. You get 25 pieces in here, and they come with the mats and the shaped mats here, some frames, and you can also make individual hexagonal boxes, and I'll show you the die for that in a moment. So let me quickly show you what you're going to be needing to die cut out, because there's a whole range here of stuff that I've die cut out. So of all the sides, there's four sides, four lids, lid sides. We have four different shaped hexagons, so we can use those for the top and the bottom. So you're going to be needing 6 of each sides. So there's 6 here in each pile, 6 of the lids as well, because these hexagons have 6 sides. Now what is optional are these little pockets here and these frames here. So these frames are for the largest size here, and these little pockets here fit on the second layer in. And for the hexagons I've cut 2 of each, one for the top and one for the bottom, and you can also die cut another hexagon if you wanted to do like the 2-layer lid so that it would hide, depending on how it all depends on how you glue it together. But I'm just going to quickly show you a very simple way of doing it. So let's clear the decks. I think I've given you all the information that I need to so far. There's so much for me to actually remember. So let's just move everything aside. So let's work on the first hexagon, which is going to be the outside layer. So we're going to be needing the largest of all of the sets. So let's move all of these aside as well. I'm just going to keep these over here more or less in the order that I can remember. Okay, so we have 2 hexagons and 6 sides, 6 of the lid sides as well, and these frames here, which again are optional, so you can slot in your photographs in there. I'll put those aside. And before we get started, you may have questions on oh, I've got to die cut all of these, it's going to take me ages. It took me around about half an hour, and I'll pop some a video here just showing you how easy it was. So basically, for every single die that I had, I set them all out, and then I die cut it, and then I transferred everything to another sheet, ran that through again. So it was one of each size, and I did that 6 times. That got me most of the sizes I needed to make all of the boxes, and then I just had to run through a few extra ones, like a few extra hexagons as well, just to finish that off. So it really didn't take me that long at all. Okay, so the first thing you're not going to need to do is just fold all of the score lines. So even with all of that die cutting, it hasn't taken that long as if you were making this from scratch as well. So this really does speed things along, and it leaves you the time and the energy to actually decorate your hexagon box. So I've just folded all of these down, and I'm just going to move over to my glue, which, look, it's running out. I do have another bottle. Okay, so I'm going to add glue to the bottom. You can use red line tape as well. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to glue that to the first hexagon so I can see the score line poking out, and when I look at it from that way and fold it up, it seems to be okay. So I'm happy with that. So continue gluing all of these around, and then I'll be right back to show you the next step. Okay, so I have that all put together now, so these all come up just like so. So let's get on with the lid. Let's move that over there. Okay, so here we have the lid. So it's going to be exactly the same. Fold all of your score lines down just like that, and get them all added, glued under here, and then we'll be ready to join up the sides. So let me get all those glued down, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so the lid is now going to look just like that. So now we can glue the sides together. Just add a bit of glue just to each side tab and then fold that into place. Okay, so now we have the lid. Okay, so if you want to, you can test it out. So just fold up all of the sides here, and then that will go on like that. It's going to be a little bit unsturdy because we haven't filled on the inside bits yet. So if you can hear children playing and children screaming, they've just reopened the play areas and park areas, and there's one directly out the back of my house. So there are a couple of children out there screaming on the swings as if they're on roller coasters, so apologies for that. Okay, so what you can do now is, if you want to, you can add another hexagon the same size as what we've just used, which I'm going to fish out in a moment, and then die cut one, and that will sit right on the top there just to cover these layers. Okay, so I have my next hexagon here. I've just quickly die cut that out. You can do it in a contrasting colour as well if you really want to, and I'm just going to glue that on there. Just need to make sure that all of my sides still close up. I have it in the right place. There we go, and that's going to add a little bit of sturdiness to the bottom as well, but it will already be quite sturdy once we have all of the layers added. Okay, so now we have, let me just make sure that these go over. Right, now we have the frames to work with, so I'm going to grab a bone folder for this one. So you have to be very gentle here in folding these over, just like that. So get those folded over, and then turn it upside down so that it's the other way round. So we have the flaps at the back, and then press down that way, and you will get a nice straight fold, much better than if you were doing it that way. Okay, so now we are ready to have that added to the sides here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to take this right up to this line here where the hexagon starts, because I will have trouble folding that up. So I want to leave a little bit of a gap. It's not quite 1/8 of an inch, but just a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch, just in order for it to close properly. Because there's nothing like getting all of these added and then you can't close the actual box. So do make sure that you leave a little bit of a gap. And if you can hear that girl screaming, it sounds like she's having a wonderful time. And if you can't hear a girl screaming, well, you're probably thinking I'm a little bit crazy. There we go, there is our first frame done. And from this offcut, you will get an offcut. Here they are, here are my offcuts, they're all the same colour. But you can use these in these pockets here, in the next layer. So we might have to trim them down, but keep hold of those, because you'd end up with a big bunch of offcuts. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue going all the way around, adding my frames. Okay, so here is our first layer done. All the frames are in, and I've just tested it, so this all folds up nicely because I left the gaps around there for that to fold up. So the lid's done, so let's move on to the next layer. So grab your next size hexagon, next sized side pieces, and then for the lid, I think this is the next size, there we go, we'll find out in a minute. If you're ever unsure on what size to go for next, your hexagon side should match the hexagon lid like that. It'll be the same size, so that's how you'll know that it is the same size. So I'll be needing those for the lid. Okay, so fold all of your pieces again and then glue it all together like how we did for the first one, and then I'll be showing you how we'll be doing this one slightly differently with pockets. Okay, so while that dries, I'm going to pop that aside. Let's work on the pockets. So I have 6 pockets here. Now these can go, you can do 12 of these pockets and have one each side. Up to you how you want to decorate it. So fold all of your score lines over, just like that. And I'm going to stick this one down just to show you. I'm going to take the easy route and fold everything up the other way. So the this side here is going to be hidden underneath. Can't lift that up. There we go. Right. So this is going to fit on the inside here. You can add another one, as I said, to the outside. That would look really nice. Okay, so again, I'm going to be leaving a little gap here, if you can see that. The same amount of gap so that I'm able to fold this upwards. There we go, and I can't wait to put the mats on these as well. As you can see, they are shaped with a thumb hole, and here we have the mat here. There's a thumb hole on that too, and it's shaped perfectly to fit that. So that is really hard to do if you were doing that manually. Okay, so let me get all of these added on, and then I'll be right back to show you the next stage. Okay, that is the last pocket put on, and I think off camera what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another 6 of these pockets, and I'm going to put them on the outside like that. Or feel free, you can just add photos on here. All of these side panels also come with these matte dies, and you can use these matte dies to cut out your photographs as well. So really there's not a lot of photo editing that you need to do. If you want to, you know, print them off smaller, you can do, and then use the mats. It's up to you. It depends on what sort of photographs that you're working with. Okay, so here we have our second layer. Right, so here is your choice. You can stagger them so that they all open like this, or you can off center it slightly so that it goes like that. What you need to be aware of is your your outer layer will need to close with this on a tilt. So if you twist it around a little bit too much, these side pieces aren't going to close very well, and it will squash the hexagon. So it has to kind of just be tilted ever so slightly, just like that. And then the next layer we put on, we'll twist it again a little bit more, and that will give you that lovely like layered effect. Or you can just keep it straight like that. It's up to you how you do that. Right, so let's get that glued on. Whoops. I expect this to be heavy, but when I pick it up it's really light because I'm on the last bits of the glue, and I'm absolutely determined to use every single bit of glue in this bottle. I might have to end up decanting it into another bottle if it gets a little bit too difficult to get the last bits out. Okay, so let's line everything up and then test it before I properly stick it down. Okay, I just need to make sure that none of my points or the corners are going over the edge. Okay, I'm happy with that direction. So let's glue that down. Okay, so this is up to you now. You can do the whole thing with just the one lid, so everything just folds up. Just like that. Or you can have a lid for every single layer in the box. So let's quickly put together the next lid. This one's going to be for the layer that we've just done. So I'm going to call this layer 2. So layer 1 will be the outside one, layer 2 will be this one, and then other than that there's 2 more layers to go. Okay, so there is our second lid done. So now we can pop this on there. Just test it if you want to. It's nice to see how it progresses just by putting it together as we go along. There we go. Now, oh, we've got a straight, we've got a straight. There we go. So there is our second layer. Let's close this up so you can really gauge how this is going to start coming together and how we open it up. Okay, so here we have our first layer there. So all we have to do is take off the first one and then the second one, and that flops open too. So the next layer is basically exactly what we've done. There's no additional pockets for these because these are getting pretty tiny now, so we can do little photo mats with this one. So this is the next bit there, and we have layer 3. So let me get this together and then we will be ready. Oh, I got them mixed up. Then we'll be ready for the last one. Okay, let's test this on there. Alternatively, you can get all this put together and then kind of fit the lid around and glue the edges, the sides of the lids once you're happy with that size. If you're worried that it's not going to fit, I would recommend doing that for the outside lid. This lid I just made is a little bit tight, but we can make that looser by fitting the lid once we have the whole box finished. That's just something to remember. So what am I doing? Right, so this is going to fit. I'm getting myself all muddled up. Right, this is what we're doing next. So again, we're going to twist this slightly and that is going to fit on there. So again, making sure none of your corners are going over any of the folds. So to me that looks good. Yep, and then we can press that down. Okay, so here we have, let's move this aside to dry. Here we have the last one now. It's getting quite small. So what you can do is you can again have these as drop down sides, or what you can do is you can make it into a box using this die here. So let's get that one out so you can have a closer look. Okay, so I have my prototype here and I've just cut one up quickly. I'm going to cut another 5 of these just to show you. This was my prototype, so this is, just keep going down. Okay, so in the center here I have a solid box. So all of these boxes that I've just made here, that with the sides collapsed, they can all be made into boxes just like that using this one die here. So as you can see, there are 3 notches here. So this full length here is the length for the full box. So box 1, it will fit this one. The next size down, you can trim it, just cut across there, and then that will be your next size for box 2, and then box 3, and then box 4 will be the shortest. So if you can imagine, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it on camera, but by eye you'll be able to see it. So let's just take the scissors, cut across, and if you want, you can actually taper that down as well. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then if you cut 6 of those, that will be the right height to turn the center box into an actual box. And again, you can make a stack of 4 stacking hexagon boxes using this join. Okay, so I'm just adding these onto the walls of each one, and I'm making sure that the tabs all go onto the same side. So I'm aiming for the right side, the right hand side of all of these boxes. I mean sides, not boxes. Okay, so let's get that glued onto the hexagon now. I'm just going to do exactly the same again. Just going to go around all of those. I'm going to stick them on the inside. Okay, now I'm just going up the sides. Oops, that's not dried properly. Okay, and there we have our hexagonal box. So you can do this same exact thing with all of the other boxes and create a lovely stack of nesting boxes. So for this one, I'm going to glue these again like we did on the first one. I'm going to put them on the outside. That is going to give us a little bit more room there for the lid to go on, and I'm going to assemble this whilst it's on at the top. So I'll get most of the side pieces glued down, and then what I'll be doing is gluing the last little piece on whilst it's on the box. But if you can't understand what I mean, then I will show you. Okay, so they're all on the sides now, so let's get all these little side pieces put together, and I'm going to stop before I get to the last one. Okay, so here is the last one. So I am going to actually add some glue to that. It could be a little bit tricky to get to, so just do your best. Okay, so let's pop that onto the box. And then squeeze that shut. There we go. Okay, so all I have to do now is just do one more little hexagon just to cover that up. Okay, I just want to say you get 5 hexagons in this set. So we have the largest, we have the next one down, so that'll be box 2, box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, and this little one here, this one is a mat for box 4, so it goes one step smaller. So if you wanted to mat box 1, you'd get the biggest one and you discard it and you do the next one down. So you'd use box 2 to use as a mat for box 1 lid. I'm hoping that makes sense. So you have a lovely little nesting set there of the hexagons. So let's cut out box 4. I'm just going to double check that's the right size. No, there we are. This is box 4, and then when I cover this with pattern paper, I'm going to use the 5th one. Okay, so I can now cover that up just to hide that. That girl is still screaming in the park. She must be having a really good time on those swings. I thought she'd gone home because it got quiet there for a little while, but I guess maybe she went to have a go on the slide. Okay. Right, that is our box lid. Let's get that on. And then we can glue this box into the center of this one. And I know it's all like a big pink poof thing, but once you have this matted with your photographs, it's going to, and some patterned paper, it's going to break this color block up. So if you want to go for different colored layers, that would look really nice. It's like a rainbow. But again, if you all go for the same color, it will be all broken up once you've added your pattern paper. So it will all look nice and different. So I'm just going to glue this one in exactly the same shape. We're not going to twist this one. This one's going to take the shape of the hexagon. There we go. So if you want to take the lid off and then just get your bone folder in, press that down. There we go. So this all folds up. So I just want to show you before I fold everything up. So I just want to show you before I fold everything up. These are the little offcuts, the little rectangles that came out of these frames. These do fit inside here perfectly. So you can even turn those into little journaling mats. You can just mat a photograph in there as well. And those all fit in there lovely. So let's get this all put together. So I have all of my lids ready. Let's grab this one. That's going to fit on there. Next lid. This is going to look absolutely fantastic once it has all the patterned paper on, and at the end of the video I will pop a photo of what this looks like finished. There we go, and then let's get the last one on. There we go, and there we have a lovely hexagon exploding box. So thank you for joining me today. If you do have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I'll do my best to answer those for you. This die set is available at Craft Stash, and I believe the link will be down below for that as well. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.